saying that, if they keep saying this about you and about God and about the universe, what do they say? They say, you are that. You are that means what? If you're sitting somewhere, you've gone for a family trip or something, and you're on top of a mountain, and it's all beautiful, and you're lying down on your back, and you see this inverted saucer over your head full of stars, and it's so lovely, and you say, oh my God, look at this expanse of the universe, look at its immensity. I'm nothing but a speck. I don't count for anything. I'm so small, and yet I let my ego make me believe that I'm the greatest, and I fight so much, and I'm so arrogant, but I'm actually a nothing. I'm really a nothing. If you said that, or you were at a beach and you said, oh my God, look at the immensity of the sea. What are we? We are nothing, and yet we pretend like we are some great beings. Okay? If you said that, and a lot of people would agree with you, yeah, I know, we are just nothing. We are just cogs in the wheel. Really, we don't have much influence. I don't know why we give ourselves so many airs. And a lot of people and a lot of religions would agree with that. They would say that is called humility. You must feel humble. You shouldn't think you're great. However, the sages of the Upanishads, the rishis who wrote the Upanishads, would say, what? What are you saying? And they'd give you a nice knock on the head with their knuckles, with a fist, and say, what is wrong with you? How can you say you're a nothing? How can you think you're insignificant? How can you think you're irrelevant? How can you think you're powerless? You have the God spark inside you. You are capable of anything that you wish to do. If you practice the discipline, you are limitless. And so those are the 4 Mahavakyas. Aham Brahmasmi, I am God. I mean, can you think of anything more blasphemous than that? For a religion to say, I am God, I am God, Aham Brahmasmi. They say it over and over again. They say, Tat Tvam Asi, you are that. They say, I am Atma Brahma, my soul is God. The purest part of me is the same as God. There is no God outside of me. Actually, the God is everywhere outside of me. He's also within me. Then remember I told you in that, I don't know if you looked at your homework 2 days ago, I said the 5 Pancha Mahabhutas. Did any of you read that? The 5 elements that make up the universe, the Pancha Mahabhutas. What are the 5 elements that the ancients believed make up the universe?
So there's
Air,
air, yes.
Vayu,
Water,
Agni, and
fire,
fire, Agni, yes.
earth,
Earth, yes.
and
space.
Space, exactly.
So,
yes, so air, water, earth, fire, space. And they said anything you look at in the universe is made up of these things. What about the human body? Is that made up of the same things? They said, yes, let us demonstrate. What happens when a man dies? Okay, when a man dies, first what happens to him when you touch a person who is dead? What happens?
He's cold.
He's cold.
Yeah.
So heat has left his body. That means he was made up of heat, that is fire. So he was made of fire. What else happens when a man dies? When you put your hand near his nose.
no breath.
No
He
breath.
doesn't have any air. No breath.
No air. So he was made up of air, but the air has now left his body. What else happens when a person has been dead for a while? Does he get all wrinkled and desiccated like an Egyptian pharaoh mummy?
So the moisture is also left him.
Water has left.
Water.
So he used to be made up of water. What else is left? When you put him, when you bury him inside, or when you cremate him, when you light him, set him on fire, or if you bury him, what happens to the body?
The body goes to heaven.
No, body doesn't go anywhere.
The ashes.
The soul goes to heaven.
The soul goes to heaven. So that's space.
The soul goes somewhere. If he was good, it may go to heaven. Otherwise, it might hang around in some hell for a long time.
If you're a very bad person,
Ma'am, the soul might. I don't think hell is real though.
So it's going up, so that's counted as space.
Space. No, not for that. Not for that. That's a good answer, but that's not why he's made up of space. If it goes away to space, that doesn't mean he was made up of space. No. So a man occupied space when he was alive. When he's dead, what happens? He gets eaten up by worms or burnt up by the fire, and then what is left of him goes back to earth. So he was made of earth, right? And
But if you let maggots or something consume him, then he goes back to earth. If you cremate him and maybe throw his ashes into like a plant,
water or something,
like
that also will go and
whatever you
settle on
do
some
with the
bank,
ashes,
right? Or settle at the bottom.
Normally,
Exactly.
when you get someone's ashes, you put them into a river. You put them into a holy river, and
Ganga. They're supposed to put it into Ganga to take it to heaven.
Okay. So basically what they were saying was, this is what it is, that every human being is made up of the same 5 elements as the
What about
universe. So
space? What about space?
space is, he used to occupy space when he was alive.
Oh, that
But
kind of
once his
space.
body is disintegrated, he no longer occupies space. So that's, and there was space inside of him, which when he gets desiccated, he becomes smaller and smaller, right? When the space disappears inside. So they used to keep mapping the elements of the universe to the human body. And they said, my God, how can you think you're irrelevant or insignificant? The same elements that make the stars make you. You are a star. You are God. You have immense and unlimited potential. You just have to believe it. So there's a lovely story in the Upanishads about Aham Brahmasmi. It said, how did the first Brahman become Brahman? How did the original God, the original energy, how did it decide it was the supreme energy? Well, say the gods, one of the gurus says to the student, that original energy said, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, and it became Brahman. So the student asked, is that all I need to do to become Brahman? He says,
Just
yes.
say I am Brahman and you're Brahman now.
Yes, let me tell you a story, he says. You know, there was this guru and there was a student who came up to him and said, Guruji, there's this really tough task that I have to do. It's really, I mean, it will take all my resources. I don't know if I can do it. You know, it's going to be hard. Do you think I can do it? And the guru said, do you think you can do it? And the student said, yes, I think I can. He said, then you can. Then another student comes. Oh my God, this task is so hard. Guruji, do you think I can do it? The guru says, do you think you can do it? He says, no, I don't think I can. Then you can't. See, that's the thing. If you say you can, self-belief is a huge way to attain anything you want. You have to
Sounds
believe
like
that you
from
can
Guardians
do it.
of the Galaxy.
See, they all take from our epics only. They all take from our scriptures and they write scripts, I'm telling
So
you.
Guardian of Galaxy, there's the villain who are called the believers. So they basically say, I believe this, and that happens.
Yeah, a lot of it is that you have to believe it, but it's not enough to simply say I believe it. You also have to be prepared to put in all the hard work and sacrifices that are
You
required.
basically have to
achieve
put
it.
all the thought into what you want to do, and then if you have the potential to do that, you can do.
Yes, the thing is, what the Upanishad says that everybody has the potential to do whatever they want. They just don't believe it. If you can somehow make yourself believe that you can achieve anything, plus you should say, I'm willing to put in all the hard work. I'm willing to like really do all the sacrifices, not sleep well. I mean, just sleep for shorter time each night. Or, you know, I'm taking up this exercise routine, which requires me to actually be up at 4 a.m. and run for 20 kilometers or whatever. You know, it will take me 2 hours till 6 a.m. I should be able to do it. I should say, yes, I will do that. And I believe I can do it. Then you will. Okay, so those are the kinds of stories in the Upanishads. Very, very empowering stories, lovely stories. So let me go through the list of Upanishads and I'll tell you one small story from each. I think that's all we have the time for. What's the time? What's the time?
We have
4:30. We have half an hour. So quick express storytelling, okay? So there are 10